Have you ever wondered what would happen if some of history's greatest minds were suddenly dropped into our modern world? Forget the usual suspects, we're diving deeper. What would these iconic figures do with smartphones, social media, and our 21st century challenges? Let's find out. First up, the original Renaissance man, but probably not the one you're thinking of. Let's talk about Ibn Sina, known in the West as Avicenna. This Persian polymath was a physician, a philosopher, and an astronomer all rolled into one. His medical encyclopedia, the Canon of Medicine, was a standard textbook for centuries. So what would he do today? He wouldn't just be a doctor, he'd be a global health revolutionary. Imagine Dr. Ibn Sina on the world stage. He'd probably lead the World Health Organization, using big data and AI to predict and manage pandemics. He'd be fascinated by modern medical imaging and genetic sequencing, likely pioneering new, holistic approaches that combine cutting-edge science with the mind-body connection he wrote about 1,000 years ago. He wouldn't just treat diseases. He'd be on a mission to redefine wellness for the entire planet. Can you picture his podcast? The most calming yet informative health show on the internet, debunking medical myths with centuries of wisdom and modern evidence. His Twitter feed would be a brilliant mix of medical breakthroughs, philosophical musings on the ethics of AI, and maybe even some poetry about the stars. Next, let's bring back the fearless ruler and military strategist, Queen Nzinga of Ndongo and Matamba. She spent decades skillfully resisting Portuguese colonial expansion in 17th century Africa. She was a master diplomat, a brilliant negotiator, and an unbreakable leader. In today's world, Nzinga wouldn't just be a politician, she'd be a global icon for diplomacy and justice. Picture her at the United Nations, her commanding presence silencing the entire room. She wouldn't just give speeches, she'd broker peace deals that others had deemed impossible. Her incredible grasp of political maneuvering, combined with her unyielding fight for her people's sovereignty, would make her a formidable force in international relations. She'd likely establish a foundation dedicated to empowering emerging nations and fighting neo-colonialism. On social media, she would be an absolute powerhouse, using her platform to rally global support for human rights causes. Her posts would be sharp, strategic, and incredibly inspiring. And you just know she'd do a masterclass on negotiation that would sell out in minutes. Now, for a change of pace, let's welcome the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, Marcus Aurelius. He wrote his famous Meditations, not for an audience, but for himself, as a guide to self-improvement and resilience. Can you imagine what he'd make of our world of constant notifications and digital distractions? Today, Marcus Aurelius would be the ultimate wellness guru and mindfulness coach. But forget the superficial stuff. He wouldn't be selling you crystals. He'd be teaching you how to find genuine tranquility amidst the chaos of modern life. His book, probably titled something like The Emperor's Guide to Inner Peace in a Digital Age, would top bestseller lists for years. He'd have a wildly popular app, maybe called The Daily Stoic, offering practical exercises for managing anxiety and finding purpose. His podcast would feature long, thoughtful conversations with neuroscientists and psychologists on the nature of happiness. He wouldn't be an influencer in the flashy sense. He'd be a quiet, profound presence reminding us all to log off and look within. His core message would resonate now more than ever. You can't control what happens around you, but you can always control your response. Let's sail into the modern era with Grace O'Malley, the legendary Irish pirate queen of the 16th century. She commanded a fleet of ships, met with Queen Elizabeth I on her own terms, and ruled the seas through sheer force of will and brilliant naval strategy. So what would a pirate queen do today? She'd be a titan of industry. Grace O'Malley wouldn't be raiding ships. She'd be running a global shipping and logistics empire to rival Amazon. Think of a CEO who's not afraid to get her hands dirty. She'd be on the docks, she'd be in the boardroom, and she'd personally negotiate the toughest trade deals. Her company would be known for its efficiency, its aggressive expansion, and its surprisingly loyal workforce, because she'd know how to command respect. She'd also be a fierce advocate for maritime conservation, using her immense resources to protect the oceans she once ruled. She'd be a media magnate's nightmare, notoriously private, but occasionally giving explosive interviews where she'd call out corporate greed and inefficient leadership across the board. Her motto would be simple: control the trade routes, control the world. From the sea to the library, let's bring forth Christine de Pizan. In the late 14th century, after being widowed, she became the first woman in Europe to make a living as a professional writer. She wrote extensively, arguing for women's right to education and challenging the rampant misogyny of her time in works like The Book of the City of Ladies. In our time, Christine de Pizan would be a literary and feminist icon. She'd be a Pulitzer Prize-winning author and a celebrated professor, her lectures packed with students eager to hear her deconstruct modern gender politics. She wouldn't just write books, she'd be a powerful voice in media, writing scathing op-eds for major newspapers and hosting a show that dissects cultural issues with intellectual rigor. She'd establish a massive online platform, the City of Ladies 2.0, a digital space for women to share knowledge, build networks, and support each other's creative and professional ambitions. She would champion equal pay, educational access for girls worldwide, and be a leading voice in the fight against online harassment. Now, let's get mathematical with Al-Khwarizmi, the 9th century Persian mathematician from the House of Wisdom in Baghdad. We have him to thank for, well, algebra. His name even gave us the word algorithm. Dropping him into Silicon Valley would be like dropping a match into a fireworks factory. Al-Khwarizmi wouldn't just be a coder, he would be the foundational architect of the next technological revolution. He'd look at our current algorithms for social media and search engines and likely find them clumsy and inefficient. He'd probably go on to develop a new form of artificial intelligence, one based on more elegant and ethical mathematical principles. He would be the quiet genius behind a paradigm-shifting tech company, focused not just on profit, but on using algorithms to solve real-world problems, like optimizing global food distribution or creating truly personalized education systems. He would be revered in the tech world as a visionary, the one who saw the true potential of the systems he first imagined over a millennium ago. Finally, let's discuss about a true American original, Benjamin Banneker. A self-taught mathematician, astronomer, and surveyor in the 18th century. This free African-American man created his own almanacs, corresponded with Thomas Jefferson to argue against slavery, and even helped survey the original boundaries of Washington, D.C. from memory after the lead architect left. Today, Banneker would be a celebrated public intellectual and a leader in the STEM community. He'd likely be a prominent figure at NASA, using his astronomical genius to plan missions to Mars and beyond. But he wouldn't stay in the lab. He'd use his platform to advocate passionately for science education in underserved communities. He would host a captivating science show for all ages, making complex topics like astrophysics and urban planning accessible and exciting. He'd be a powerful voice for social justice, drawing a direct line from the historical injustices he fought against to the systemic inequalities of today. Benjamin Banneker would be a living symbol of intellect, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge and justice for all. From ancient philosophers to pirate queens, these figures show us that greatness isn't just about what you accomplish, but the spirit with which you do it. Their core drive, their intelligence, and their resilience would undoubtedly find a way to shine, no matter the century. It's a fun thought experiment, but it also reminds us that the potential for greatness is always here, waiting for the right person and the right moment. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through time. Who do you think would make the biggest impact today? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more historical what-ifs. See you next time.